welcome back to the circus. Finally getting some measurable snowfall up here. Been able to get by with the Kodiak here so far this season. I've only been getting 2-3 inches at a crack, so this has been alright. But quickly running out of places to push it with this, and I don't know, plowing just seems kind of rough on the old quad. So I think we're going to dig out the white over there, get that thing back into working order, and hopefully use that to remove the snow we're getting right now. Got us somewhere between the 8 and 12 inches forecasted. We'll see if that actually comes true. Well, like everything else around here, this thing gets abused and used pretty hard. This summer I had the mower deck on it, kind of just using it as a brush hog. And in order to get it set up for that, you got to take apart the lifting mechanism down there, all the linkages and whatnot. And that's got more pieces than your standard chunk of IKEA furniture. So I don't have that put back together quite right. I need to figure out what I'm missing, because right now the blower just wobbles back and forth too much. Pretty hard on the U-joints on the drive shaft there. So gotta look at that, get that stabilized a little bit. The exhaust is about ready to fall off here, so we need to re-weld that. And then probably fill up the transaxle again with oil as usual if things leaking more than the Exxon Valdez. So let's get this thing dug out of here and see if we can't cobble it back together in the next 3 to 6 hours. And again, like everything else in here, it sort of becomes a catch-all when I'm not using it. Got a bunch of these LED lights that I've been slowly but surely putting up in the shop to replace the incandescent bulbs. And got the carbs out of the Summit right now, getting those cleaned up, hoping that this last snowfall is going to be enough to open up the trails around here. If not, I'll at least be able to rip around the woods. And I don't know if this one's going to be ready in time. The old 151 back there though, that did run like 6 months ago, so maybe we'll try and dig that out and get that back out in the snow. And let's see here, no steering, no compression, giant hole in the side of the jug. Let's hope that you hold up for the season. Alright, you see how much side-to-side movement there is here? The way that drive shaft is flexing up front, not great for the U-joints, especially when this thing is running at high speed. So, got to figure out what I'm missing down there. Obviously, I don't have some sort of support brace where it needs to be. I know there is a cross piece that's supposed to go right down here that I've never had for this tractor, so I think we'll try and fabricate that up. But in years past, I ran it without that, and I never had that much movement there. So let's take a look at that linkage underneath there and see if we can figure out what we're missing. Well, I was just looking at an old picture that I have, and the only difference that I can see here is the location of the actual arm that lifts this whole chunk of bracketry up and down. And I've got it further to the rear than where it was. It was initially in this hole. I have it moved back to this hole now. And the only thing that that should do differently is just allow me to drop the whole blower down lower to the ground, which I want, because I want to get that extra inch of snow that I've always been missing the past couple of years leaving on the ground. So I think what we'll do is probably just go ahead and fabricate that piece on the front here that's supposed to keep everything from shifting back and forth, and see how that works out for us. I don't know what I have for round. Nothing super useful in there. Well, actually, we'll come back for that rebar. There's what I'm looking for, I think. A little bit small, but I think we can make that work for now. It's about 17 inches. We'll go with 18 inches on that. Alright, so how wide is this guy? 3 inches? We'll call that 3 inches. And let's see. I feel like a rebar is going to work fine for this. I just got to find something that's the same size. That should be enough. Alright, we're going to cut 2 of these pieces at, say, 15 inches. And then we'll need one at about 3.5. Alright, I will meet you guys over at the welding table. So this should help keep things a little more stable up here. Now obviously the idea is that as you lift the blower up and down, this will ride on the frame and kind of just follow it, and then no matter whether you have the blower up or down, this is kind of providing a little bit of support on either side of the blower there. Thinking it wouldn't hurt to put a few cross braces further up on the rebar here, but we'll try it like this, see how it works, and then modify it as needed. Moving on to my hokey exhaust system here. This is starting to kind of separate there at the welds, so we're going to pull that off, try and at least tack it for now. I'd like to put a different exhaust system on this, something that's a little bit more, I don't know, less gas pipey, I guess, but I think we should be able, I mean this works fine, we should be able to pull it off and just tack it up for now and then get another season of use out of it. Had a pretty good crack all the way around the outside of the weld here, which is not super surprising. I mean, kind of surprised that it held up for as long as it did. This is going on 4 years now that I've been running this. 3 years? 4 years? Somewhere in there. But for now, like I said, I think we're just going to stitch that back closed, hopefully, and get maybe at least one more season out of this muffler and then come up with something new eventually. Well, that should be enough to hold it for now. We'll give that some time to cool off, come back, see how bad it warped, and if the bolt holes still line up. Oh, there we go. That's nice and solid. Now I'm covered in fiberglass from that exhaust wrap, so that's good. I think we should be all set to go. Blower seems a lot more solid with that piece on the front there. All we got to do is wait for it to finish snowing now. Well, it sounds like this is supposed to keep up for at least the next 12 hours, so I think I'm going to go get cleaned up, eat some lunch, come back out here, clean up my mess. And we'll see what the snow totals are looking like at that point, but I think we'll probably just wait until this is all done to go out and move everything. Well, just went through and hit all the grease fittings, with the exception of an oil change that she desperately needs. I think we should be pretty well good to go. But before I change the oil, I want to take it out and get it warmed up real well, so I think we might go test out our new repairs or fixes, whatever you want to call them, and just go clear the driveway coming back to the shop here. I'm not going to do everything because it's still blowing like crazy out there and we're supposed to get another 6 inches of snow yet, if not more. So, and I'm sure, you know, with the way it's blowing, it's going to drift too. So let's just go test it out. We'll get it all nice and warmed up, come back, drain the oil. Well, I just got the carbs put back on this thing and got everything greased. She should be good to go. Hasn't been run since last winter though, so I think we're going to try and fire it up, let it idle for a while. Typically when they sit, or at least when this one sits over summer, some of the injection oil I think is leaking down past the seals into the case. So the first time that you fire it up in the beginning of the year, it's super smoky. I don't think I'm going to take it out into the yard yet and rip it around. I just want to run it for a little while. Before I get it all covered in snow and ice, I'm going to take a little time tomorrow morning yet and just go through it one more time, make sure it's all good to go.
We're waiting.
Well, it's about 8:30 the following morning now. The wind really picked up overnight and there's quite a few drifts out there. So let's get this thing fired up and go clear the driveway. hope you guys enjoyed that. Something to watch anyway, a little bit of garden tractor content. But spent a little bit of time out in the yard on the sleds. We definitely have enough snow for them to open the trails. I don't know if they're going to or not though. Looks like they're still closed as of noon today. Might open up tomorrow. It's just now getting cold enough for all the swamps and creeks and rivers and lakes and everything to freeze up. So I'm sure that's probably what they're waiting for. I think one section of the county did open up this morning, or last night. But the trail behind the house here did not yet, so we're just kind of waiting on that now. This thing's pretty fun. Just picked this up the middle of summer, like June or July. I haven't done a thing to it yet. I picked this up along with the other 144 Rev Chassis Summit back there. Haven't had a chance to touch both of them, just with work and everything and working on the truck this summer. Do have the red Summit ready to go though. Got that out and burned it around the yard a little bit. Got all the oil out of the crankcase, I think. Sounds kind of weird to say burn the oil out of the crankcase, but I think that's what's happening there. When it, like I said, when it sits over summer, I think the injection oil leaks down past the crank seals and kind of sits down there in the case until you fire it up and well, burn it out, I guess. But probably a sign that the crank seals are getting old on that, I would think. I don't know why else it would do that, but it did the same thing last year and rode it all season last season, and it was fine. So I think that's really all you can do with these things, is just ride them until they blow up. But I mean, obviously along with your periodic maintenance and everything else. But like I said, went through the carbs on that one, got those all cleaned up, greased everything on it. She should be good to go. Haven't put out a video in a very long time, well, at least a couple months anyway, just because I've been busy. But have a lot more to do around here. As always, I'd like to do something with these revs. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I thought I was just going to sell it because I don't really need it, but I mean, it is kind of fun to just rip around the yard. It's not in trail condition whatsoever. It's missing the tail light and a bunch of other stuff. The guy that had it before me was going, he called it a lightweight build is what he was going for, but I don't really know what that means. I'm sure he was just trying to build it for boondocking, which makes sense, but I don't really have the opportunity to do too much of that around here, so I don't really know how feasible it is, if it makes any sense for me to keep this thing. A 151 on the trails around here is just a little bit too long. I'd worry about it, you know, getting a little bit hot. Not kicking up enough snow to keep everything cool, but that and this thing is just, it's not built for trails. It's only got a tack on it. It's got no temp gauge, no fuel gauge. Yeah, so I don't know that it would make the best trail machine, but maybe we'll hold on to it, do something fun with it. That other rev back there, that 144, I do want to fix what's wrong with that and make that kind of like my primary trail machine. Don't know what that one's got on it for mileage. It's probably higher, but I haven't, like I said, really haven't had a chance to look at either of these yet, but hopefully that'll be coming in the future. Well, I suppose that's enough rambling for now. I don't know when the next video is going to be coming out. Probably going to be spread a little bit thin here. Just got into grad school. That's going to be starting mid-March, I believe. So that's going to tie up a lot of my spare time as well. But we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll have more time than I think I will. Well, for now, thank you guys very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that.